A pleasant good evening to each and everyone in Georgetown, Guyana, the diaspora, and elsewhere. Friends all, today I want to bring to your attention about your own mistake or your fault that created Guyana to be the way it is in right now. Many of you may not agree with me because you are political party stooge. You, the blacks, the uneducated, the soup drinkers, you will hold on to your black party because PNC is dominate black and the PPP is dominate Indian, and you will hold on to each other. How many more years will you all continue to allow these political party leaders to ride y'all like a jackass, and y'all are not getting nothing for it? Just a few of you. The police is a civil servant. The nurse, the teachers, the doctors, the military are civil servants. The customs, the immigration are civil servants. And your politician is the civil servants. Your vote is what put the politician them into office. You vote for them, and they make laws to deny you your rights. And yes, they're without a doubt, and I would say alleged to this, in the PNC, if you're not a racial party, your action has spoken more than if you was a race. All right? And if you are in the PPP party, and you are defending it, putting yourself in trouble every time to defend it, then you love corruption. I am not saying that the PNC don't have corruption with it, but there was more racial politics in the PNC party. APNU is a members of APNU is members from the PPP, Muslim Nagamutu, Ramjatan, the two stallions as you call them. Friends, when will not you all change for what is right for your children and your generation? Tell me. I have seen so many things popping up on Facebook about the PPP, the installed government, the PNC. I have seen politicians argue with each other. Bharat is explaining more than the president what's taking place with the PNC. The PNC members are doing the same with the PPP. And yes, that is what an opposition is for. But those are only make-believe that you, the true citizen, the rivals and the emancipators, making you feel that they are representing your rights. Never did they represent the rights of Guyanese, Indian or black alike. As you see, I always address the two of you. Under the PNC government, Burnham, There were 90-something% civil servants, all black. What about the Portuguese, the mixed race, the Chinese, the East Indian, the educated one, by the way? Too many advantage have taken the Indian race on the Burnham and other races. But you, the black man who in Guyana, the corrupt one, the illiterate one, you hold on, but white man slave you. But what you have done is worse than the white man. Take it from me. You tell me what you read. But I am talking what I witnessed, which is more important. What somebody tell me or what I see. In the courts of law, you cannot go and say you hear. The judge will chase you out of the court because he said, tell me what you see. Now what you heard, it does not matter. It's what your eyewitness you will take to the grave, not what you hear. Friends, I look at a young man was talking about Coffee, the revolutionist. And I have to congratulate him. But again, some way or the other, he misread or it was not given to him right. Coffee Otter, or whatever his name is, this great son of Ghana, a liberator, a revolutionist, not an opportunist. He fought for the freedom of his people. But one must understand that when we say colonialism, a white man, we must identify which one of them. They were Portuguese, they were French, they were Dutch, and they were the British. The British is the first one, as European, to blow up the fort in Africa, Ghana, and elsewhere to stop the slave trade. Go to Ghana, Almena Castle, and you will see the history there. But coming back to Guyana, there was one piece of land called Guyana, not G-U-Y, it was G-U-I. But what happened when Coffee uprised against the European people at the time, the Dutch? And bear in mind, the British and the Dutch was fighting for Guyana. The Spanish also was fighting, and get it clear. But the Dutch had whole Guyana before the British or the French. It was one piece of land called Guyana. G-U-I it begins with. When coffee started in the 17th century, there was Dutch Guyana. And after coffee carried the blow, and the Dutch was looking out for the shore and the water side of the British and the Spanish at the same time, Coffee had an opportunity to carry the struggle. Yes, and he was successful only to a limit. From 1 to 10, I would give a 7.5 or 8, given the historical event. But the Dutch had to surrender. They had to come to a compromise to surrender part of of Guyana to two other European countries, who's the first cousin, Britain and France. And the plot of the coast of the Atlantic and Pacific was divided by the three relatives. So the British came in and the French to fight against Coffee, to help the Dutch. And that is when the division starts, because Coffee was outnumbered, and also he was captured and was executed. Let it be known, the British had played a vital role for freedom for human beings, especially the African descendant in Guyana and even in the shore of Africa at some area. My friends, historian could write you their story, 10 or 11% true, and the rest is make-believe. But again, if everything that we read, we follow, we are going backward instead of going forward. Today, you have French Guyana, Dutch Guyana, British Guyana. France will not give up Guyana, which is French Guyana. The Dutch gave up Suriname. The British gave up Guyana, which was British Guyana. If the honorable judges and the honorable Attorney General know the laws, then both major races that ruling the country have committed fraud against the indigenous people. For the law books, Mr. Nandalal and Mr. Ramjatan and Mr. Norton, in due respect to your honorable people, I hope you all won't get miserable when you understand now that you have committed a crime by receiving stolen property that don't belong to none of you. I quite agree that no one can deny that the blacks were not slaves, but the blacks are denying that other races also were slaves. And they also were slave owners in the African continent and in Egypt of the Pharaoh and the Moses and in the Saudis and other area. They even ruled Spain, I said 500 years, and I was made to understand over 700 years, the Moors. Cannibal make the elephant climb the hills, the mountains, I say. My friend, we can only follow what we read, but in every race there's good and bad. Indians fought their own in India with the Mahabharata war. They fought against, in modern time of India, in the 40s, 50s, Muslim and Hindus fought each other. Oh, that's why you have Pakistan. In Africa, tribal affair also. They all were fighting each other. We cannot bring back the past, but we must not walk back into those ugly Stone Age or time that the annihilation of our loved ones from Africa to India wouldn't have been in the Caribbean, America, and elsewhere. We spoke of the white man steady, the white man slave us. The white man take our resources. You out of Africa and India. Well, you Indians don't talk about it. Because y'all love money. Y'all are corrupt. Y'all will do anything to accomplish money. But you can then leave it. Your children all will lose it. And in the Indian family, the wife controls the man 9 out of 10 times. And even cause him to beat and kill his own brother or his mother. Put him on the street once the wife is in control. So you are lesser than a man when you listen to your wife. Because they do it to Samson. They do it to many more. That's why I don't believe in King David, who sent his best friend, the warrior, the head of the army, to die, to go in the battlefield in front, while he wants to screw the man's wife, his friend. So my friend, too many things I can't go back. I want to go forward. Today we are in Guyana and the Caribbean, but Guyana especially. We say Guyana was independent in 1966. It was not. It was given to children, grandchildren of slaves and cheap labor. Some people write and say, where the Portuguese them there? They take all the money and run out the country. If it was not for the Portuguese, my black brothers, or Indian, with your remarks, Guyana wouldn't get a so-called independence on the 26th of May, 1966. And with all you Indian and black people was breaking up the DIA truck and causing problem, the guy was the only politician as a Portuguese make his business shareholder for any race could buy a share for $1. Plenty of you today is dead and gone, and you all are rich off of his share. Did Dr. Jagan make any one of you a share in Freedom House, Gimpex, or in a little old house he had in Kingston or wherever? Or the one he born and grew up in Port Morant or wherever? No. Listen again. Stop being illiterate and stupid. Come out of that. They are good Indians and they are good black people. Okay? They never get the chance. The late Walter Rodney, Umawali, Waddle, and many more. Even the UC Guyana, who wrote the national anthem. He was a teacher. Even he came with the WPA, the Working People Alliance, with the young freedom fighter that unite Indian and black after what happened in the 60s and what blacks have done to the Indian and other races. My friends, under the Burnham government, many Indians flee Guyana. They go to Suriname, French Guyana, Trinidad, Barbados, and many other parts in the Caribbean island, Antigua, Cayman Island. They're all over, Canada, America, maybe England too. It was done by Burnham government, not Hoyt. On to this day, Guyana had never found a leader who's concerned about the country, but keep on using division while they are milking the system and keeping you all in darkness. They pay the black police and the military and the black criminal to do their killing. And the corrupt judges and magistrates and prosecutor, because they keep you all hungry and give you a few dollars and a position, and you all will do anything to accomplish it. But I'm warning you all, the day is coming when you all will answer to it. No crime shall be swept in the corner, no matter who you are. But Jesus says it's good. The children shall answer the call of their parents. You all don't see how many young Indian children are dying, crashing and dead, burning house, chopping up one another, killing, and blacks the same thing. It's a curse, my friend. Let me tell you here today, Guyana even claimed, the Republic claimed independence, and the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. It was cooperation, pirates rule Guyana. They're all in parliament. I'm sorry if those words offend y'all, but I want to see who is honorable. An honorable soul does not go after people that criticize them. They try to analyze to know where they make the mistake to make the correction. Because a lot of Indians in parliament will not forget what black people have done to Indian race, but they do it to other race too. But I think after the late Walter Rodney have lost his life, to bring you all together, Jagan died in the first term, 2 years. God take him out because he lied. The Constitution is supposed to change, but then again, the law books and the Constitution have a lot of things which is not followed. Why the president is above the law? He or she cannot be tried. But you, the ordinary people, put them there, can be tried. Maybe get killed in jail, drive-by shooting, because politicians' hands are in blood. But there is a God. I am not saying that PNC don't have good people, nor PPP, but maybe you're afraid to speak up because of victimization. Y'all can thief all the money you want, all the gold, take all the oil. You are committing genocide against the Amerindian people. And second after the Amerindian is the mixed race. Regardless what they mix with. They can't go to Europe unless the European accept them with a visa. Now England say you could come free. Canada. America got to release it free now. Because they are the one that is harvesting the wealth of the country through the oil. Canada, I think, is with the gold. Friends, the world are changing. Africa and India, with millions of people, are ahead of the game right now with the new generation fighting for equality and what is right. Think. Today I call upon all of you, regardless of your religion or your nationality you're claiming, you are a human being. You was created by Allah, Bhagwan, or God. Unite for God's sake. Stop listening to corrupt politicians and preachers. Whether you say Allah, one say God, one say Bhagwan, it's the same person. Different language. So for my friend who talk about coffee, I have to congratulate him for his story, but it is deeper than he's saying. Because at that time, the whole Guyana was Dutch Guyana, divided after that story in three. British get Georgetown, Guyana. The Dutch keep from Nigeria, go back, and the French keep their part because they helped to defeat coffee. And New Amsterdam in Berbice get the name from New Amsterdam in Manhattan, New York. That was the name of Manhattan, New Amsterdam. And at that time, the Dutch was ruling the America. And there was a change after then, so New York changed the name of the city to Manhattan. And Guyana get New Amsterdam. Okay? In a matter of an agreement of a treaty, and the three cousins, the British, the Dutch, and the French, divide Guyana in three. The Portuguese keep Brazil, and the Spanish keeps Venezuela, Colombia, and elsewhere. My friends, we have seen a lot. Stop listening to your politicians and corrupt preachers. Treat everyone with respect, but keep your eyes open and your ears. Remember, the world changes. You kill people on, they're going to kill yours. You hear? I love the Sandanese. I love the Arab. They arm themselves and walk in the massacre anywhere they need to get trying to take everybody out. I hate to say that I'm foreseeing that Guyana would have a bloodbath. And when it is all over, if America don't step in quick with Canada or England, start learning Brazilian language or Spanish. And believe it or not, if that happens, you all ain't got 5 years in the teaching of the Spaniards or the Brazilians. Okay? So if you're all smelling bad and think you're bad, there are badder people around your border waiting for you to make self-destruction so they could walk in and take everything over. Friends, isn't this amazing? Venezuela opened up the door to many Guyanese, 120-something thousand they claim, who born and children all grow up there. Free land to build house. Free light and water by the late Hugo Chavez. So now I'm allowed 40-something thousand to live there. Guyana allow maybe about 500 or 600. India no love French for some reason. Trinidad, Antigua, Dominica, and others have done the same. But Guyana must show hospitality. We need a national front government because we do not have a cooperated Republic of Guyana. We got something beyond that. All right? We have accommodation of people who uses the two major races to get what they want. Why unto this day Guyanese are squatting? Why unto this day you have to pay rent? When I am shouting in the wilderness that every Guyanese family, man, woman, and a child should be given an acre to acre and a half land and $50,000 to build a 4 or a 5 bedroom flat concrete house, you can make it in an area that as time rise, you could carry it up. And I ask all of you in Georgetown to start to go into the countryside and live, because Mother Nature will soon make a historical mark into Guyana. So I call upon the decent Indian and blacks to unite for national front government. We try the blacks, is chaos and racism. We try the Indian, is corruption and obstruction. Flood, now fire. My friend, are y'all waiting to get brimstone? Wake up for God's sake. And for all who intermarriage, I salute you and support you. That is the human being that I think God would love to have in his kingdom. Than one who don't like Muslim, Hindu, Christian, don't like one another. Indian don't like black, black don't like white, white don't like thing. Come on, man. It's time for me to throw that old garbage, look for the whole hand, and put Guyana forward. All right? So everybody can be happy and live off of the oil, unite, and hold our politicians accountable and corrupt others. Once again, I would like you to subscribe to the channel, press the bell, And I am your host, George Correa. And y'all have a good night. And wishing y'all all the best for a national front government. Have a good night.